offline coming back, which means spacies are a lot more frequent and common. And Wolf, the character just moves, and it's not, while it's not hard to move well with Wolf, it's hard to move right with Wolf. And when Jakal starts moving right, he can take games, he can take sets off of the best players in the world.
But he can also take 77% from a classic Galaga Pac-Man combo. And he did take a lot of that earlier because this was who this is who Jakal lost to in the winner's bracket before. Did get 2-0'd by this Pac-Man before. One of the greatest Pac-Man players to ever do it. You already know, Sinji. We got Jakal here as well for grand finals of this particular DNA bracket that we got going for us. Let's see if Jakal learned anything from that winner's set just a couple of sets ago, or if he still got his mind on these last couple of ones that he had going on. Or if he could just ride the momentum.
And well, that forward air backer is going to do it, and you know, I was saying that down smash, all right. I was saying that the best wolves not only know how to move fast, but also right. Sinji and his Pac-Man are excellent, pristine at making you not move at all, making you feel bad for trying to move.
Yeah.
And he sets up these walls, he sets up his defense, and he makes it a hard time to get any sort of forward propulsion afterward. We're seeing some build up start from Jakal in the latter half of this stock, but at 164, you're starting to feel the pressure a little bit as Pac-Man will have to find a way to kill you.
Yeah. You're saying he makes you feel so stupid about, like, going in to the point where, like, you do nothing, even when, like, it seems like it's a good situation to actually go in.
Yeah, it's
the Pac-Man factor, baby. I mean, you know, that's what this character does. He instills the fear of God in you. He really does.
It's almost like, so Mario's kind of like that all-around character, but he's that all-around, like, high-tier, top-tier, where he does everything above average, or like, well, good, whatever adjective you want to do. Pac-Man feels like that, but even better. Like, he has everything, and he does some things better than others, but he does it all well. He does it all on a top-tier kind of level. So he can scrap with Wolf, or he can wait him out, and Sinji preferring to wait for Jakal to give him that opening and take his 50%.
It all depends on the situation, you know. I mean, I want to say that there are some where Pac-Man is exploitable, but it's just so hard to even get to those in the first place, what with the neutral you play. But, I mean, I agree. If you're not saying Pac-Man is top tier in the, you know, the year of our Lord 2021, I don't know what you're doing. You might just not have a good one in your region or something, and we got Sinji, so trust me, we know how good this character is.
People will slowly learn. I mean, it's even with being almost 2.5 to 3 years into Ultimate, it is still a pretty young game, a lot of time to develop and a whole other patch to go through. So we'll have to see where Pac-Man ends up, but right now, he's definitely a phenomenal choice, just like Wolf is, and Jakal's waiting out Sinji to come back to ledge. The call-outs! What are you doing?
I mean, you want to talk about call-outs, dude? It's Pac-Man in the air. What do you think he's gonna do? You know what I mean? He's gonna drop.
Look, he was at 120. If he doesn't, he's sacrificing a lot of advantage and a lot of his own mobility to go for that singular read. And if it works, it kills. If it doesn't, then he looks like a fool, and Pac-Man lands for free.
Listen, man, it's Pac-Man. You gotta try. You gotta try sometimes, man. All right, sometimes you actually just gotta try, and he saw his opportunity right there, and he took it. So, ooh, and speaking of opportunities, up smash.
Yeah.
Gonna do it right there. Woo.
If we could run back that replay really quick, because this is Pac-Man with his bell to a T. Just run up. Oh, do we get through? Okay, we're not gonna get it, but that's. Oh no, there it is. All right, it's a little bit too late, but what we had in the situation before him sniping him out of the air with that bell was Sinji running up to Wolf's shield with bell in hand, clearly visible, and holding shield. Just like, hey, what you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? Because I have an item out of shield that I can hit you with at a frame 3 speed, so you better choose carefully. And he chose poorly.
That he did, my friend. That he did. You chose poorly. Oh, man, how many Zoomers aren't going to get that reference? These new Ultimate Kids, man. Ultimate Kids, man.
No, we got some
Bro, I turned 25 this month. Don't talk to me.
Sorry.
I just said don't. What are you doing? Game number 2.
Sorry,
ladies and gents. It's, it's Jakal, it's Sinji, you know it. We got Sinji taking that game 1. 2 more, and he will win this DNA bracket that we got going for us right here. Jakal, he wins, will reset this loser's bracket. And narrowing back to just try to get some damage on that hydrant, my friend. It's like, I mean, I gotta disagree with you in that sort of, like, analogy that you made about Mario. Like, I will consider Pac-Man, like, relatively all-around, but at the end of the day, like, so much of what he has even comes from that hydrant. I mean, I honest to God feel like if you take that move away from him, Pac-Man all of a sudden would become 10 times easier to fight because he doesn't have a wall that he can spawn out of nowhere in order to sort of create his, like, his win condition and his advantage state, you know what I mean? Like, he has something to get out of disadvantage state and create his advantage state with it, and something to force his win condition easier in charging the bonus fruit. Not every character can, like, crap out a wall and then charge their DK Giant Punch or their Samus Charge Shot, you know what I mean? But the fact that he has that alone that allows him to do that, I think it's a huge component of what makes the character top tier. So, comparing Pac-Man to, like, a brawler, I personally, I'm not sure if I completely get it, but I understand what you're saying that Pac-Man he's going to lose that stock right there to the back air. Can do so much more than what, like, a typical quote-unquote zoner should be able to do, and low-key can be considered a little all-around for that very reason, so I agree and disagree with you on that front.
Yeah, I mean, it's... No two characters are completely one-to-one, with the exception of Echo Fighters in some cases. Like, no two completely different... You know what I mean. No two non-Echo Fighters are completely one-to-one, but the point is, Sinji is playing Pac-Man, and how Pac-Man, I feel like this meta is going to progress is, yeah, you can wait people out, you can set up this wall, but you have to deal with so much more than just a standard, like, setup, like a Zelda type of, like, set up a wall and gain my advantage off of it. Pac-Man has a lot of tools for a lot of situations and can be played flexibly because of that. And even in one of his more, like, obviously worse matchups from talking to Wolf players and Pac-Man players alike, he still has plenty of options and plenty of opportunities to get his game plan going because he can be so flexible.
Yeah, and I agree. It makes no sense to be like, oh, but take away this, and he doesn't have that. But it's like, well, he has it. It's in the game, so it's not exactly on that front. It's just it's more of a debate on, like, how does he really do this better than another character, or does he have, like, one thing that sort of allows him to get away with things that he wouldn't be able to otherwise? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's always that, like, that argument of who does what better, but in the vacuum of Pac-Man's kit, he can scrap with Wolf while also keeping him out and playing this mobile game with some of these B reverses, but finding the back throw is Jakal as he fights himself back into a leading position. And if there's one thing Pac-Man has been had a rough time struggling with, it's similar to Sheik in a lot of ways, where he doesn't have a lot of raw kill power in some regards, while not having a full Sheik or Marthritis problem. Like, he doesn't have the truly, like, I'm just gonna throw out this kill move and be perfectly safe. He has to kind of set you up a little bit with his set play tools, but those set play tools are good, so it's fine.
I mean, it depends on the situation. I agree with you for like half of that as well, just like that little Pac-Man Mario debate we just had, but there are some situations where Wolf can just sort of, like, keep the back airs, or I thought, like, some jank happened, where, like, some back airs or the down smashes by the ledge can sort of keep it going, and he can just keep fishing for those on the way out. I've definitely seen him get some kills that way, or forward tilts, down smashes by the ledge, things of that nature. So it's definitely not like a full, like, Marthritis or Sheik situation like you're saying, but, like, it's like sort of reminiscent.
I mean, I would say I said it's not like Sheik or Marthritis.
Oh, no, you're good. Don't worry. You're good.
Either way, this is reminiscent of Game 1 in a lot of ways, where Sinji in early percents knows how to build a lead. And if that's anything of Sinji's strength, it's being able to build and maintain a leading position. While finding that kill may prove to be a little bit troublesome sometimes, he makes up for it by knowing how to play in a percent advantage and waiting for his opening, waiting for that spot where Bell lands and he gets that kill. Where Hydrant is able to tumble and the setups are there. Like Hydrant right here, making it tumble forward. Good patience on Jakal's part. Seeing that setup, but not prepped for the jump.
Yeah, definitely not. Rising neutral air, 178 right now, though, man. Spacing the F-tilt right there. Oh, I like that, actually. He ran up F-tilt to the ledge when he's not there to try to, like, just sort of, like, bait him into, like, doing a different kind of get-up, like a neutral one. And it didn't even matter at the end of the day. If anything, he probably just got him to, like, stay on the ledge a little longer, but he's well over 100% at that point. And that means that ledge invulnerability is not going to last nearly as long. Sinji remembering that and tossing out the apple. All off of a situation where a dash attack from Wolf would have normally hit any other character, but again, Hydrant's out right there in the center of the stage, and now Pac-Man is all of a sudden a couple of units higher than he would be normally. That's something pretty much most other characters can do, ladies and gentlemen, but it's one of those things that sort of creates those openings that sort of makes it seem like he does, like what he does so much better than other characters. But if anything, I think he gets a lot of that stuff just off of the Hydrant, and Hydrant in itself is just such an amazing move in this game. I don't think it's already talked about. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not talked about enough, because it is, yet it still feels like it's not talked about enough because of how good that move is. But it is at the same time, you know what I mean?
There's just other things to talk about with Pac-Man. I mean, we see him by ledge here. He's waiting for that Galaga. He's waiting for the bell, how strong his smashes are. Like, it's how awkward and his entire kit is, and within that flexibility once you learn to master it. While Wolf is, like, malleable to a point where he can play any matchup at a high level, and Jakal has certainly shown that, Sinji has been constantly proving that mastery over Pac-Man's more unique tools makes your Pac-Man that much stronger. We saw it with the apple. Like, hey, I didn't know apple hit ledge, but it looked like it hit ledge at that perfect spot. But you know what also hits ledge? Not Wolf back air, but he gets jump from ledge at a potent kill percent to put Jakal in the lead yet again. Let's see if he can actually maintain it in Game 3.
This is where, like, you know, Pac-Man setting up his little RTS doesn't really matter as much, because now technically he's the one who has to approach. Ooh! I like that sneaky down tilt there to just get a little more damage and keep Pac-Man off of the level. Very cute little stuff coming out from Jakal right there. Resetting the situation once again, rising neutral air. This is where they see, yeah, see right there. This is where Jakal isn't the one who's forced to make a move on the Hydrant right there, lest Sinji get his bell. You know what I mean? Now he can sort of just hang back a little bit more, since, like, technically he's the one in the lead, but at the same time, part of what makes Pac-Man top tier is that, like, you know, hanging back on Pac-Man a little bit sort of just gives him a little more of the time to charge that bonus fruit in the ways that he can, so he can just either tack on the damage, stun you with the bell, or kill you outright with the key. It sort of feels like a lose-lose-lose situation against him. Whereas either if you're in the win condition, or not win condition, whereas either if you're in the stock lead and you're in advantage, or you're in disadvantage and you're the one who's down, it feels like either way, Pac-Man will just be in a good position to get that right bonus fruit when he needs it, because he's got the Hydrant, but Jakal doesn't seem to care, Rubel.
So this is why whenever edge guarding a Spacey, hit them in startup. When he's charging that wolf, when he's charging his fire wolf, when he's positioning himself for wolf flash, go out there and smack him, or use something to smack him. Trying to challenge the end of wolf flash is a recipe for disaster, and it just looks like the shot of adrenaline that Jakal needed in order to put 102 unanswered onto Sinji before that dash attack. Finding the Nair on shield does protect him from the up smash, but you have to be careful. Good shine. Didn't see much of the shine before that moment, but it was a perfect tool to get him out of that bad spot and keep his stock lead intact.
Besides that one stock that we saw where he just jumped up and, like, killed Pac-Man towards the blast zone with it by reflecting it, we definitely didn't see too much of that move, and didn't see it right there either, where I felt like it could have been, like, properly utilized to sort of just get him at a disadvantage, because now we have Sinji Oh, dead. We have dead Sinji with the up air, killing him off of the top right there with the up air. Jakal, a little bit of life still left in him.
Wolf's dash attack is such a brilliant move in the sense of how good it is, because the move has so many different hitboxes that all send at different angles depending on timing. Strong hit early Wolf dash attack sends at a pretty solid 45-ish degree angle in the direction that Wolf is facing. However, late hit front hitbox sends forward, while late hit inside hitbox sends vertically, setting up for combos or strings like that Sinji was not ready to escape from in a precarious spot, finally getting Jakal on the board with his first game of this Grand Finals. Sinji still having plenty of chances to even up to end this DNA right now. Just will he have the resolve, or has Jakal put together some new game plan or some new strategies to help cement this game 4 and 5?
Jakal was able to get a lead very early in Game 3, and to be honest, I think that helped him a lot. Being down against Pac-Man is just so difficult, because like I mentioned, regardless if you're like in advantage or disadvantaged against him, he somehow finds a way to charge that bonus fruit. But let's face it, when you're the one who's down, it just becomes that much harder. When you're the one who has to approach against that hydrant, which is a wall, and against the bell right here, when you're the one who's got to go in, it's just harder because the mountain becomes that much steeper to climb. With any character, when you're the one who's in the lead, technically you're the one who's supposed to make your opponent approach if you don't want to, in a quote-unquote optimal world, right? Where like you just sort of run the clock a little bit. Not saying Sinji does that or that he has to do that, but at the end of the day, you know, when you're the one who has to commit to something, you're the one who's taking the risk. Sinji knows that, and that's why I think he's up in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at him just run fully across the stage. He understands that trying to scrap with Wolf in that spot may not have been the best play, despite Pac-Man's good frame data. But he can space Wolf out, and he can run away from Wolf and get 74-82 now by just understanding that, yeah, he has the stage to work with. Might as well take and utilize that space instead of letting it all rot because he wants to hold forward.
Such a hard thing to do against Pac-Man, man. It's like, you know you're down, like, you know you're just eating all this damage from, like, not even these combos, but just from being in disadvantage from these minute little hits, and the mountain just becomes harder and harder to climb, like I said, because it's not only a matter of just, like, taking the damage, you're also running the clock. Like, you have to start playing kind of patiently against Pac-Man if you want to play around all of his shenanigans and get through the little set play obstacle course he likes to create for himself. But the thing is, that's not only hard to do, but if you mess that up, you're wasting a lot of time on the clock right there, man. And Sinji, he's timed out a lot of people in his day, my friend. We both know that, so he's no stranger to winning that way either. It's just such a hard thing to do against this character, man, which is why I think trying to secure an early lead against Pac-Man is so crucial, because then you're not in this position where you need to take 2 stocks against one with only 4 minutes left on the clock to even get the game to even oodle.
Yeah, early game matters so much against a lot of zoners and a lot of trappers, but Pac-Man especially, because he has that very fluid timeout game that he can play to. It is a win condition in Pac-Man's arsenal. And it's a win condition Sinji has relied on, not relied on, but has chosen many a time. Because he can play with it. Sinji has been able to play with a lead, and Pac-Man does so much damage that he can gain that lead and gain that momentum rather quickly. But here is Jakal's Wolf trying to even up this game as much as possible, playing his game a little bit slower, seeing what openings he can force by running in and seeing what Sinji does about it. But Sinji playing strong. Okay. Funky Pac-Man things. Well,
turning a non-believer into one. He's already got a lot of damage tacked onto this Pac-Man right here.
That's what he needed.
And now we got the forward air to the back air confirmed. I couldn't have said that better myself, my friend. Just those 4 little words. That's what he needed, my friend. It's technically 5 words. It's a little apostrophe that breaks it right there. But no grammar lessons here. We're in game number 4 of this set right here in Grand Finals. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that Jakal needed right there, is a quick little confirm like that. He also needed Sinji to mess up his own confirms off of the bell right there to give him a second lease on life once again. Let's see what he's going to do with the gift of life that has been protruded onto him.
Fall.
He's going to die.
Unfortunately, fall.
Yeah.
It was the shot in the arm that Jakal needed to be able to find a window for it and hit that confirmed hard. Getting that nice fair bear, just a Wolf classic that he can pull off because of his phenomenal airspeed. But Sinji played through early ultimate. He played through early ultimate in New York. He knows the shenanigans that Wolf can pull off, and he knows how to take it, swallow that pill, and move on. And Sinji moved on after getting his stock blown up at 80 to choke out the final game in DNA. In DNA offline season 11. I believe this is week 8 or 9. It's week 6. Week 6. Oh my god. Wow. Time is weird.
Yeah, we're just getting used to sort of the notion of time again, aren't we?
It's bananas, too.
You know, it's definitely like a bananas thing. And there you go, Pac-Man with the medicine, like you mentioned before, rolling his sleeves down to take that shot instead, rather than up. Seems to do everything backwards, don't he? But we are done. Sinji, the defense of a god, creates the offense of a Pat god. Only here that you'll find a DNA for Sinji out here, except on Wednesdays when he's at Xeno, probably. Or, you know, at any other tournaments that you'll wind up seeing him at. This guy's no stranger to making great runs at majors, such as Let's Make Big Moves, coming up this January, when that's going to run through. That tournament is still happening at the New Yorker. Can't wait for that. But, before we even talk about that, do we have any ads? Are we running through ad slides, or are we done? Yes, we do. Yeah. There you go. All right. Platinum Star Weekly, every single, let me move my mic so I can actually see it, it's on the monitor. Platinum Star Weekly, every Wednesday, with a really, really fun, medium-sized, sometimes small, insanely stacked weekly that we have down in Howell, New Jersey, 2396 US 9 Howell. You got some pretty good players into this bracket, you know, like Tweak, and, like Rivers. And, Jakal. Yeah, Tweak enters this tournament literally like every single week now. So if you want to see some insanely high-level offline Sephiroth play, you know where to find it, ladies and gentlemen. Right here at Twitch, at twitch.tv/Rivers. It's streamed on Rivers' channel, but the VODs will be on youtube.com/masterhandgaming instead, as the action is brought to you by that. Venue $8, single 7. You know what it is.
Yeah, and then, of course, there is the weekly event for every single Monday. One of the most stacked events in the country, bringing players from Philly, from New York, from Long Island, and from New Jersey. It's the Collision Series' own Fusion. You can register for the next week right now at smash.gg/fusion. It takes place over in Linden, New Jersey at 12 North Style Street. And, of course, you can catch all the action on twitch.tv/collision smash.
Yeah, and if that ain't enough for you, you can definitely get this and plenty more Sinji action, probably, over at the Xeno Weeklies for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, New York's finest tournament every single Wednesday. Brought to you by Xeno Zero and House of 3000, some of the finest production in the business. You can follow them at twitch.tv/House of 3000, smash.gg/Xeno to sign up for the events, House of 3000.nyc. And also at House of 3000 on Twitter right there at 21 Ludlow Street, New York, New York. Definitely check that one out. Offline greatness in Smash. Don't want to miss it.
And don't forget the Xeno Saga Monthly is happening this Saturday. But hey, it's your mom's favorite podcast. What about this one, Nintunis?
I don't know. I feel like you should ask your mom about it. She sounds like she knows more than more than me. No, this is my podcast. I do it with my good buddy Dennis. It's a comedy banter podcast with new episodes every single Friday. Not even necessarily at 8 anymore. I gotta update the slide, but by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time most of the time. This week we had famous Guitar Hero chart, former Guitar Hero chart streamer, musician, and YouTuber Bandypat. He's worked with Jason Paradise a lot. If you're into like Clone Hero or Guitar Hero charts and whatnot, we had him as a guest on the show recently, and he's been a good friend of mine for quite a long time. So if you like nonsensical, very inappropriateness, you want to catch the non-esports side of Nintunist, you can check that out. It's at youtube.com/Nintunist and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. It's called the Double D Experience. Check it out.
Hey.
Jersey Diner at its finest. Jersey Diner banter at its finest. That's what we strive for on that show. But hey, we are done here.
Jersey Diner banner. Gotta love it. And
love it.
Yeah, that's going to do it for the DNA of this week. Catch us next week at the same time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for this phenomenal bracket. Every Thursday, run by CS teams, streamed right here on Master Hand Gaming.
Yeah, that's right. We are pretty much done here, folks. We hope you enjoyed the stream. Definitely follow and subscribe to Master Hand Gaming as well, for sure. If you want to catch some, sick emotes, and also be up to date with these events as soon as they go live. Master Hand Gaming, it does insane production and insane quality for a lot of these different Smash events that we got going on right here. They do so much for a lot of these different events, and I'm just grateful to be able to be a part of it myself personally whenever I get the chance to stop adulting and sit down and do one of these things, I suppose. But that being said, we're done. Take a look at all those fancy computers that they have over at the Helix Esports Center right there. You can check them all. They're all shiny right there. That pretty sure all the stuff in there is worth like $1 million, I think, with all the crazy stuff they got going on.
Like the chairs alone are like $200 a pop. That's crazy, bro.
Pretty wild stuff, my friends. But hey, we can talk about those chairs any day of the week. We're done here. We hope you guys enjoyed. Next week, see you then.